Hi, Caspar here on the 28th of November 2021, and red Bordeaux. We've got a claret here. This is 2005 Château Cantemerle that I found in my wine rack earlier and thought I'd just pop it open and have a look at it. So it's been open and decanted for a little over an hour now. Gosh, it's deep in colour as well. It's pretty much opaque at the core. And what's going on around the core? It's just starting to take on signs of age. It's right at the rim there is a little bit of mahogany, but it's sort of garnet coloured. It's but very deep, as I say. What does it smell like? Oh, it's a really well defined nose. It's a spicy nose. It's got a cold graphite element to it. It's not outrageously fruity or ripe to smell. It's got a sort of crisp black currant aroma to it. Very nicely defined set of aromas. I mean, you couldn't mistake it really for anything other than claret. I must say it's distinctly Médocane. Mm. Gosh, that's super on the palate. Again, it's absolutely classic claret. It's really cool, and it's got tannin all the way through it. The tannin's ripe. It becomes quite architectural at the back. It really sort of buttresses the crisp, quite crunchy blackcurrant fruit. I was looking through my wine rack for something that was slightly lower in alcohol, and God, I had such a job. Everything I pulled out seemed to be 14 or 14.5%. Pulled this out, says 13 on the label, so almost a bit of a throwback to Temps Perdu. And you know what? It's right. There's no greenness about it, but it's got a lovely sort of crunch and crispness to it. A piquancy to the black currant aromas, and as I say, that graphite thing is quite distinct. It's crisp, it's lively, it's got bounce, it's got energy to it. It's got real length, and that length is constituted in that structure, the tannin. Um, mm. And the lively acidity, which is sort of buried within. When I first opened it, I took out sort of half a glass or so, and it was quite mushroomy, and that's completely gone. That was clearly a bit of sort of bottle stink maybe. And what you're left with is something that's got there's a burst of sort of pure blackcurrant on the palate. I've never been an overwhelming fan of Cantemerle. But this is a really good example, I've got to say, and I think a good example of a very good vintage. I think '05 will always outshine 2009, for example, and I think perhaps the wines are in a slightly lower register than 2010, where everything's turned up to 11. I mean, it's à point now. It needs food, as claret invariably does, but got it's really it's got good cut and definition, and vim and life and energy to it. It's a really nice thing. I've got to say, I'm extremely pleasantly surprised. It's yeah, I'm going to enjoy my next glass or two. Yeah, so it's been 2005 Chateau Cantemerle. Uh, yeah, from right down the south of the Médoc, but a lovely thing. I'm really enjoying it.